God calls what the English translators put as the people of Israel. Literally, in Hebrew simply says B'nai Yisrael, which is a contract state composed of the word ben, which is son, and Yisrael, or sons of, B'nai, construct. B'nai Yisrael, literally sons of Israel. There's still the ownership going on in the construct, with the yod at the very end be, Ben would be son, and then the yod at the very end would be their sons, or the sons of, in the construct. It connotes ownership when I say construct. The construct is indicated by this little dash that shows up. The sons that belong to Israel. So just without getting ultra technical, the sons of Israel is what it really says in Hebrew. I behold, now I've heard the cry of the sons of Israel. Even though over on the left side of the page in the English it says, now behold the cry of the people of Israel. So we got people here in verse 9, which seems to be the same as people up here in verse 7, but they're actually two different Hebrew words. Does that mean they're two different entities going on? Of course not. Context tells us that it's the same people. The point being is, right away we see that God is establishing this ownership. They are my people. They belong to me, right? I claim ownership of them. Let's jump over to Exodus chapter 4, and we'll see this played out as well. Same dialogue. Same with Moses, right? Exodus 3, Exodus 4, and then we're going to look closely at Exodus 6 here in a moment. God is still dialoguing with Moses about sending him to the Pharaoh to explain to Pharaoh that these are my people and that you need to let them go. So that's the context of this whole, these chapters that are in view. In Exodus 4, starting in verse 22, God gives another designation to Israel, and this one's important as well. Then you shall say to Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, or thus says the Lord, Israel is my firstborn son. Notice the personal, the possessives of my firstborn and son. So let's see what this would look like in the Hebrew. This time I think we can do the whole verse. Verse 22, right side of the page says, Va'amarta el paro ko amar Adonai b'nei v'kori Yisrael. B'ni v'chori, I should really be using the guttural there. V'chori, b'ni v'chori. These two words right here are the sons of mine and the firstborn of mine. If I were to break apart the b'ni is what we saw earlier, ben, right? B'ni, ben. But the yod, the final, very last piece that you can see. Let's see if I can highlight just the yod. There we go. Without clicking on it, because this is a hyperlink, and it'll take me into the lexicon if I click it. B'ni, so the sons of me, or the sons of mine, or my sons, and then v'kor is the root word bakar or bakor, which indicates the first thing that breaks the matrix of the womb, whether it be a human or an animal, the firstborn. And then you can see again the final yod letter, which was in the letter word over here as well, of me, or of mine. So we could really stretch out the translation as saying the sons of me, the firstborn of me, or the sons of mine and the firstborn of mine. But in English, we just smooth it out as my firstborn son, or something to that effect. And it's also, I believe it's a construct state because of its connection to the noun Israel over there at the end of the verse, even though there's no little dash. So, if I'm correct, I might be wrong on that. But nevertheless, point being, without getting ultra technical, is that God is saying to Moses to tell Pharaoh, these are my sons. This is my firstborn son. He even goes on to threaten Pharaoh in verse 23, and I say to you, right? God speaking to Pharaoh through Moses, let my son go that he may serve me, and if you refuse to let him go, behold, I will kill your firstborn son. And again, the same possessives, the firstborn son of you, your firstborn son, right? Bincha b'korecha, jumps from first person to second person now. But nevertheless, the possessive is still seen in the suffixes at the very end, the cha and the cha right there. Same root words that we saw earlier, the bin and the bechor, same as in verse 22, because that's the root of the words themselves. But God is letting Israel know that not only are they his people, but they are even intimately connected with the idea of his firstborn son. This is the antecedent theology that is going to inform us when it comes to identity of God our Father, and we are his people. Indeed, we are his firstborn son. We are family members, right? We belong to him. Let's continue. Exodus chapter 6, verse 7. Again, God says, I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who has brought you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. All of this is not only familial language, right? Language that's related to families, right? We already saw son and people, but this is covenant language. I will take you to be my people.